If Goten and Trunks fused with Gamma's number 1 and 2, we likely would have seen a brand new style of fusion/transformation, or rather Henshin, we'd never seen before in Dragon Ball. Furthermore, a new status quo changing power greater than that of Orange Piccolo and Beast Gohan could have easily been found as well, thanks to the raw potential of the two halves of Gotenks being combined with the power of the Gammas. Since in both the film and manga versions of Superhero, they both boasted some of the most impressive feats, especially against Cell Max. This could come about via the manga interpretation of events mostly, where we have the use of the Saiyaman X1 and X2 personas as major inspirations of Dr. Hedo, to the point of being described as their progenitors when the Gammas encountered them in their costumes, since it should be kept in mind that the twisted super evil genius of Dr. Gero also built in certain aspects of his creations with the idea of full operation/power output and efficiency commonly not being possible, at least not without some kind of biological component attached to it or based around the android in question. For example, the Cyborgs and his ultimate creation of the bio-android Cell, since they are and were commonly shown to have the most potential for growth and immediate power output, while fully mechanical models, while still strong, were more advantageous for their obedience. Thus, in this verse, when commissioned by Magenta, a slightly more wily Hedo just takes that knowledge of his grandfather into account when he's asked to make Cell Max, since in canon, he already went to the trouble of making and programming heroics into the Gammas, so an extra precaution for the greater good would also not be out of character. Thus, as an extra failsafe, if Cell Max or anything else looks like it could defeat the Gammas, or even Saiyaman X1 and X2 as their powers was his muse, then the Gammas will fuse with the tech that allows Goten and Trunks to transform into their superhero personas, morphing them into a mightier form through a simple costume change, since while not extremely common, we do have the precedent of things like King Kai's magic materialization, making Goku a new Gi strong enough to defend from weak attacks on his own. Or you could go with something like my own headcanon, that in exchange for the drop in speed and power used to equip weighted clothing, a fighter's current durability would increase slightly over what their natural defenses allow. But in this case, it will be a lot more of a power-up in the vein of Cell or Super 17. They'll think more about concepts like symbiote costumes from Marvel, or the Goku uniforms from Kill la Kill, a kind of living parasitic clothing that enhances the user, and this would just be done to the ultimate extent of that idea in the Dragon Ball verse, offering Goten and Trunks full-on tokusatsu power the likes of which Gohan and the Ginyu Force have only ever dreamed of. The catch, of course, being that they have to properly sync up and pose to activate this power, and of course, their tech names have to be extra cool and flashy, or else they have a chance to fail. But if they keep all that under control, and then go all out, Super Mega Mode, and maybe even try to battleize and fuse into Gotenks while in these states, they'd be hypothetically adding a 5th and 6th Ranger to their team in one move. So now all they need to become the ultimate Sentai squad is a giant robot to pilot in a battle. And with this new power making Cell Max such easy pickings for Gamma Goten and Gamma Trunks, they already have a good feeling about where to start on that project. But this is very obviously only scratching the surface of the question.